Good blue collar morning. And we are live now, Brian. Good morning, Brian. I'm glad that you're in here. Look at where we are, week 10 of 12. Can you believe that, Brian, that we have finally a day that we can talk about mindset, fear, and resistance. This is a big deal. Mindset, our fear, and resistance. And we all deal with it. It shows up as procrastination. It shows up as anxiety and different fears that we have in our lives. Good morning, Alicia. Glad to see you in here. Alicia, I'm sorry. Brian's here today. Brian, if you want to say something, good morning, Farm Girl. We got Brian in here today. Let me show you where Brian is.
Brian's doing behind the scenes stuff. Good morning.
There's Brian. That's Brian's little office desk right over through there. We're having a good day today. We're turning this whole series into a pretty cool book for the Mental Craftsman. It's all about blue collar workers and the mental health for all of us people that show up every day and do different things. And sometimes there's no real avenue for us to just seek a little bit of mental health and just putting it out there that we're normal. And we're normal when we have procrastination or we feel, my dad just gave me a spanking for not getting up on time. Not fair. What a comment that is. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm glad that you're up on time. So that would be a procrastination problem right there. I can share a little story about that. There's this doctor I follow. She gave I think a TED talk, maybe I read it in one of her books, where she was helping somebody that was late all the time, no matter what her alarm clock or lattes or anything were. She would be late for work, and she'd be late for everything, but specifically work. But she was exceptionally successful at her job. And after doing some therapy and some self-reflection, she actually realized she was a free spirit and just didn't like to be told what to do by people. And a lot of what we're going to talk about today, when we're talking about our mindset, fear, resistance, procrastination, we're going to take us all back to when we were younger. The particular person I just talked about was always told what to do as a child, how to do it, what to do. So she grew up having procrastination of starting her day out to be told what to do. So when you're a free spirit, you find out your true, authentic self with intention. It helps you live today. So fear of having resistance, of being told what to do, being afraid, or having failures, all of that comes into procrastination. Now, procrastination sometimes, what we're going to be talking about today, in week 10 of 12, procrastinating. Procrastinating sometimes can be good. And why it's good is because sometimes it's one of our responses to being overwhelmed or drained. We sometimes might have a commitment or some responsibilities, and we get so drained with everything that we've been doing that we just put that off for right now. And it's a choice that we make. But when procrastination becomes habitual, and it's tied in with anxieties and fears and have a cycle, I'll just do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and then you have that anxiety again. Then that's a problem. And that's where we need to start reflecting back into our lives to find out where the self-doubt came from that created the procrastination. So a lot of times in our childhood, there may have been needs that weren't met. And those are things we want to reflect back on now. We don't need to go back to fix any of that, but what we need to do is go back and find out how that affects us today, especially when it comes to procrastinating in our everyday lives. So we're going to get right down to it. So what we're going to want to do, good morning, Kelly, glad that you're here. What we're going to want to do is think about our lives and living and what keeping us. Good morning, Anna. I hope that you're doing good and everything's okay. Sorry, I forgot to turn this off. Let me deal with that really quick. What we're going to do and talk about, thank you so much. What we're going to do and talk about on week 10 of 12, right in through here. Thanks, Anna. is we are going to be talking about procrastination in the sense of it interrupting our authentic life, interrupting what our purpose is. I'm sorry about this. I got to shut my phone off. Okay. So on week 10 of 12, we're procrastinating, overcoming the self-doubt, the fear of failure, responding and resist with intention, understanding your fears, time management, and self-regulation. And a lot of times we can go out, we can get books on it, get motivated, get a coach, and all of this. And um, this is so good. Alicia hit it right on the nail on the head. It helps to know foundation so you don't just use a Band-Aid. And what we mean by that is if we're going to be in an automotive race and we're going to take that race anyway with no air in our tires, and the Band-Aid is going to be to just run on the rims, we're never going to win the race with Band-Aids. We're never going to succeed in life by just putting little Band-Aids on things. Instead, we want to reverse that a little bit and take little steps to overcome some of our fears and some of our procrastination of where it comes from. Now, going back in through as we were developed as young kids, sometimes we got a mindset from the people that raised us of maybe they were overwhelming, maybe nothing was good enough, which makes us a perfectionist. And when nothing's just right and you're constantly planning something but not doing it, but then you have the fear to come out with it because you're a perfectionist, because you're afraid to be laughed at, you're afraid of failure, you have these fears. So let's break that down because this is the biggest part. Week 10 is really big in this 12-week series, all about our mindset and our fears and what is keeping us resisted. You've always heard sometimes, and I know it goes both ways, but the right side of the brain, the left side of the brain, there's one part of our brain that's always looking out for fears and telling your reasonable side, which would be the left side, is responsible for that. Anyway, I'm not going to get deep into that, to be quiet because you don't understand. You can't reason. We have to understand our feelings to live a life. We have to understand where our triggers are and what puts us in a paralyzing state of fear that keeps us from ongoing with our life and our agenda. And like I said, there's really no books and theories and stuff on it, but you got to get to the root problem. So I wrote down 5 things that we're going to discuss just to begin this today. One of the things, anybody that comes in here and knows Brian set up our YouTube and our link tree. We have what now, 25 or 30,000 followers? 25,000 followers in a couple of months, which is a good thing. It's the Mental Craftsman, and that's what this is about. We're gonna accept challenges. We're gonna take negative thoughts and we're gonna reverse them and put them into a positive light in our life. So let's look at a couple of things that I wrote up over here on this board, which are 5 things. I should have had this all adjusted, but it's nice having somebody here with me today, having Brian here. So we're going to talk about some of these little things right in through here. And I'm sorry about the light. So first we want to identify our triggers, right? Through self-reflection, understanding what circumstances bring that up. What circumstance am I in when I procrastinate or I have fears? And journaling and writing about your feelings as they come and finding out the who, what, when, where, and why, that is really good. Reflecting on your fear and where your fear is coming from. And a lot of times we're going to find out that it's some type of trauma that we had as a kid. And when I say trauma, some people feel that trauma is like a big thunderstorm. You fell out a window or you had that. But a lot of our trauma comes from self-doubt created by the way we were raised. Nothing was good enough. Maybe we had emotions that were ignored, something that we needed. So what our body and our minds created was procrastination and anxiety to deal with that. And sometimes we carry that forward in our life. So we're going to find out right here. We're going to identify where these triggers are. And then we're going to analyze the fears of failure, realizing that failures are common. It's not just you. And we're going to explore different beliefs that you have. And we're going to challenge your negative thoughts. Because when you're thinking negative, you're concentrating on the negative and not the possible good outcome from what you want to do. So that's really important right there. And then break down the task that's creating the trigger and that's giving you fear. When you break down tasks into smaller goals and into small steps instead of one big chunk, I want to build a house. Well, it's not going to be built that day. You're going to start with the plans. You're going to get a contractor. You're going to do different things, and we're rebuilding your mindset. I'm trying to get that light out of there so we can see this. And then next we would, Brian, one of these days we're going to figure this lighting thing out. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Embrace your mistakes. And failure is not a setback in life. Failure is definitely not a setback. Failure is, it's not even a challenge. Failure is just part of the journey to make things right. And then if you work on all of that, you can always seek support. Talk about it with someone that understands. You can seek a professional. You can seek a life coach, a therapist, or something like that who can help you get back to some of the reasons that you have, where you have fears in life, where you are being paralyzed from going forward with who and what you want to be in life, because you can be anything that you want intentionally. So we're going to start living our lives. We're going to overcome our fears, which means we're going to have to get uncomfortable sometimes. And take some time to just right now visualize some success. If you were to overcome some of your fears, just, close your eyes for a moment and think about what you're afraid of, and where that possibly may have come from, of some type of trauma. Maybe you were always told what to do growing up. Maybe some of your emotional needs weren't met. These are things that we can fix now. We can't go back and fix it. And when I say fix now, it's to give us an understanding of, that's why I procrastinate. That's why this isn't going my way. This is a little type of trauma. And there's big trauma, there's little trauma, there's micro trauma. And some of those we carry into adulthood. We're not able to go forward with things because we get resistance in our head. Don't do that, it's dangerous. Don't do that, it won't be right. Don't do that, it's not going to be perfect. Don't do that, you will be laughed at. Don't do that or think this way because nobody in our family does that. That's not normal to other people. We have all of these different fears to become ourselves. And if you were listening in here at the beginning when we were talking about the girl who was very successful, but could never get to work on time, it found out that she was just a free spirit. She grew up with her parents telling her all the time what to do, when to do it, how to do it, do your homework, always be responsible, do this, do this, do that. When you realize you're a free spirit, then you want to just go with the flow. Just float down the river. You'll eat when you'll eat, or told shouldn't feel that way when a child. Correct, Alicia. You can't feel that way. Why would you feel that way? And so sometimes we carry beliefs from the people that were responsible for us as children clear into our lives. And now as adults, we get to live intentionally. And we want to think about that. We want to think about how it's affecting our life when we go against living intentionally, where we find ourselves in situations that we're just in because it happened to us, not because we created it or we wanted it or we asked for it. It's something that happened to us. It's an event that we're going to because we have to. And remember, life's about what do you want to do, not what do you have to do. When you're done with your responsibilities and you finished your job for the day and you've got time off this Saturday, a Sunday, maybe a weekday, maybe you work at night and you have all day off, which is even better because the deli is always open at the grocery store during the day. That's up to you of what do you want to do when you're off work. What do you want to do? Do you want to be with family? Do you want to be with friends? Do you want to be alone? Do you want to seek out something new? Do you want to try new hobbies and habits? So what we're going to do is we're going to start real small. We got to just bring ourselves all the way back to what we feel triggers us. When you journal, really write the emotion. When I want to wear a particular outfit, or when I want to go on a long hike, or I want to make a change in my life, or I want a new career, what is holding me back? And what tiny steps can I start with so I can start climbing the ladder of success? We're all made to be successful. We all have 24 hours a day. all of us have different ladders to climb, and we have different hurdles to jump over. So communicating clearly with yourself is a good way to start. Just communicate to yourself through journaling and communication. I feel I can't go forward because it won't be right, or it's going to fail. And that's where we're going to challenge it. Using an I statement that I think that good things are going to come out of this, and there will be some resistance from others, but this is to benefit me. This is going to benefit me. There's people that don't go out every weekend with friends because they're concentrating more on saving for their future. And they don't worry that, oh, so-and-so is not going to show up, not going to show up. People have intentions to start living today for tomorrow. So how you're living today, how you're thinking today, the actions that you take, and the responses to yourself and your life and your responsibilities all carry out into tomorrow. But remember, the biggest part of it is the mindset that you have. The mindset that you have can create fear or resistance. The mindset. So that is where you need to start challenging your doubts, to realize that you have what everybody else has, and you're able to go forward, conquer procrastination, conquer the self-doubt, conquer fear of failure. Failure is going to be necessary. I run a company of a lot of construction people, and we fail all of the time, but that's part of our growth. We wouldn't be where we are today without the failure of logistics, things not showing up, guys not showing up, walls having to be redone, walls being put in the wrong place. It's all part of the learning process. It takes us back to the scratch pad, right? How can I manage? Sometime is difficult. Of course it is. And welcome in. And it is difficult. And when you're feeling that it's difficult, guess what? You're growing, because that's what growth feels like. Growth feels hard. It feels difficult. It feels like you're out of place, like I'm not sure about this. And if you can start feeling that, you're in the right place. Because procrastination in place of growth is, I'm going to go back to my comfort zone. I can't do this. And that is being set back. That is allowing the resistance. That is allowing one side of your brain to tell the reasoning, the growth side, the one that wants to build up, to shut up. I had enough of your cockadoodle bullshit. This isn't safe. We're not going forward. I want to be protected. We got to get a hold of identifying the triggers in our life that are keeping us back, So visualize success. Visualize, instead of a failure being there, the benefits of changing it, the benefits of what's going to happen. And practice assertiveness. Engage in role-playing scenarios with people at work or people that you trust. Using a lot of I's. Instead of this won't work, I feel that I need to be careful moving forward. Self-loathing creeps in. Can't let emotions drive. Then visualize. Alicia, that is so good. And that came in at the right time. It really did. So when you feel it creeping in, and then you don't feel that it's difficult anymore, that's when we're going to start reframing our negative thoughts. Reframe it. Challenging your negative thoughts. Instead of thinking, what if they don't like it? Try, I think that there's going to be good outcome on this. I feel, I, not they. Remember, you're living an intentional life for you, not them. That's got to sink in to your head. That's got to sink in. Good morning, Norma. I'm glad that you're in here this morning. I hope you're having a good morning. Remember to reflect on your progress of where you are. And remember, failures are progress, because if you're failing, you're trying, right? And instead of I'm going to try to do this, say I am going to do this. Sometimes just even the way that we are saying things to ourselves. I'll give it a try. Oh, I'll just try this out. I'll just see what happens if I try it. Or I'll just wait to it to happen. I'll win the lottery one day. This will come through. They're going to see at work how great I am, and I'm going to have a bonus and a raise, and all these things are going to happen. And they can happen, but they'll happen once you put in the effort. Once you put in the effort and realize that you are a superstar because you start reflecting on progress, breaking your dreams down into small steps so you can eventually be there and live the life, the intentional life that you want to. So you want to cultivate a mindset that is based on growth. Your mindset based on growth. And procrastination and fear of failure and having a lot of self-doubt can lead you into bad relationships too. There's a lot of people in bad relationships that get hurt by people's words because they're going to let them know that they're bad, that this and that. So you can find yourself in relationships where you can sometimes be beat down and not allowed to be yourself because you already feel you have self-doubt already. And they're just, good morning, Kelly. They're just the ones that are right there to tell you that you're correct. So, look at your relationships. Look who you're around. Is it positive? Is it uplifting? Or do you have the support? And are you given the support that people? Remind yourself that positive outcomes only come from effort and only come from overcoming different fears in your life. And keep a journal to track your feelings. Keeping a journal, writing things down, tracking your feelings about how you feel. So let's break all this back down again. So if we've been talking for 10 weeks in here now, 10 weeks, and I see a lot of the same people coming in here. And I'm grateful for that. And I hope that I say things that resonate because these are things that helped me. And I had lots of bits of small trauma in my life growing up. And, it's not like poor me, wham, 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 wham. But it helped me figure out later in life. And good morning, Caroz. I'm so glad that you're in here. And we hope that you have a nice day. And it helped me figure things out so I can take new steps. I stayed at one level in my construction company because I never thought I could be like these other guys. That I could get this kind of work and that. I had to overcome fear. I had to go bid on those jobs, right? And then get them and start perfecting them. And when I first got them, I failed at it. I had a licensing that I tried to get. I studied for it, worked hard on it, this and that. I failed that test 7 times before I passed it. But I kept going back until it was right. And I studied it. And then I surrounded myself by people that could help me out. So this is where you have to have, good morning, Kate. This is where you have to have mentors in your life and be around the people that inspire you, that lift you out and lift you up. So when you're reflecting on your progress through journaling and looking back to where your wins were, and you're grateful, and you have gratitude in life, being grateful that we figured out that some of our roads were bumpy because I never really figured out that when I was younger or I had a bad haircut in high school that everybody laughed at, it made me feel self-conscious. There's these little bits of trauma that we can have too that we carry forward that makes us feel self-conscious about our abilities when there's actually no reason at all to feel self-confident by our abilities. Somebody isn't born being a home run king. Somebody isn't born being the fastest runner. Somebody isn't born being the hottest model in the world. These are things that people work at. Some of us do have some natural abilities. I'll get that. But when it comes out into life, we just got to use our regular mindset. Algebra is not needed today. Okay, there's certain things that we learn in life that help us grow forward. But first thing that we need to learn to go forward is we got to learn where our triggers are. And let me tell you what the triggers aren't. They aren't other people. They aren't what people say about you. They aren't what you're going to say to everybody. They're not about judgments. They are all 100% model. Everybody's born. They're all about your reaction to things, how other people make you react or feel about yourself. And this is where we need to turn that lens toward ourselves to discover I'm triggered by this because some emotional incapacities that I had as a child where I was ignored all the time, or I was bored, or I had 3 older brothers beating me up all the time. There's all kinds of things that we can address in our lives to overcome some of the fears. Because that's not you now. You now are someone who's exploring an alternate reality from where you live now to create your reality instead of reality happening to you. And you're creating that by building a resilient mindset that understands your emotions and your triggers. And you're going to do that by challenging your negative thoughts. You're going to do that by challenging how it used to be. You're going to do that by living life of what you want to do instead of life happening to you as to what you should do. And you're going to reflect on progress. This doesn't happen overnight. It's just, you're not going to jump right into it. Little bits of steps. Little bits of steps. Yes, and you know the stress, and the stress is going to be there. When you're feeling stressed out, the work's happening. But it's stress that's created, or is it stress that's happening to you unintentionally? Because sometimes we intentionally put up with things in our lives that we don't realize that stress us out, and we're just tolerating it. And this is where we're going to self-explore. We're going to self-reflect. We're going to take time to look at what's in our life that we didn't intentionally put there, because we want our life to be full of intentional living, things that are on purpose, things that we welcome into our life, people that we welcome into our life, new thoughts and ideas that we welcome into our life. When you're reflecting on your progress, you're keeping a journal. Remember, when you're keeping a journal and you're planning and you're setting up smaller steps in life, that's the beginning of living a life full of intention. That's the beginning of, this is what I want my life to be. This is what I want to do. And this is how I'm going to go about it. And if you keep planning it and nothing ever happens, then there's a resistance there, the procrastination, the self-doubt. We got to find out. We got to go way back to figure out where that came from, who it came from, how that happened, to understand it. Because once you start understanding of why you have fears, that's the beginning of breaking through barriers, opening new doors to live a life full of intention. And it's perfectly okay to take your time with this. It's perfectly okay to still feel that way sometimes. But remember to go into life thinking today it's going to be intentional. I can change stuff right now. I don't need to wait till tomorrow. I can journal a couple of things, a prompt is, I have some things I want to do. I'm not doing them. And believe me, our minds are going to justify that procrastination all day long. I can't afford it. I don't have the time. I'm too old. I can't change my life at this age. I'm afraid of different things. And we're going to talk about that. So if I don't have the time, everyone has 24 hours a day. So you have the time, because even the people that are doing what you want to do, they have the exact clock that you do. They may not be in the same time zone, but they have the exact clock. So let's get into start talking about the Mental Craftsman and what it's about. The Mental Craftsman is about this course and courses that we take to live an intentional life, to live on purpose, that living our life on purpose. And there's a lot of mindsets that block intentional living. I wish my life was like this. Well, let's talk about these mindsets. The first one being, I don't have time. So there's different blocking techniques to that. You want to identify activities that drain your time. Limit those activities. What's draining your time? You watch too much TV? You don't want to do things that aren't adding value to your life. Are you scrolling too much? Where's your time going? If you don't have time to live intentional and live a good life that you want to live, then where's your time going? Are you sleeping it away? Are you spending time on what aligns with who you want to become tomorrow, the next day, next week, and the month after? It's too late for me. That's a mindset. Growth can't happen. Growth can happen at any stage of life. So to say it's too late for me to do this. Yes, sometimes I feel I sleep it away. Me too, Kelly. As everybody knows, I like to take that big afternoon nap, followed up by a big snack. And there's some things that I could do differently, but have an awareness of those things. So another mindset is it's too late for me. Growth can happen at any stage of life. It's never too late to pursue your passions. And there's a lot of people, you can look it up, who became successful. Warren Buffett was in his 50s. Now people talk about him as a great investor, owns a lot of different things. Guy was in his 50s when he really made it in life, where he became what somebody looked at. So there's a lot of stories. So it's too late can't be one of our hurdles, because it's never too late. You are you. You know who you want to be. So we can't use that one. And there's different life stages, and there's different goals that are achievable at the life stages, no matter what they are. So don't think that it's too much for you to do. Break it down. Don't worry about age. Don't worry about time. So those are our two things. I don't have time. It's too late for me. I can't do that. But the biggest one is that I really want to address is I can't do it because I'm just not good enough. I can't do that. I'm not good enough. And that's mindset with a lot of resistance and fear in it. I'm just not good enough to do that. Failure is part of growth. So you have to try it now, just so you can fail and grow and fail and grow and fail and grow and feel that pain. You're not going to announce it to everybody, because this is your journey and it's personal. So there's things that you can start doing now, little steps to get you with the shelf you want to place yourself on. And you have the time. It's not too late. And yes, you can do it. And it's not, I will give it a try, as I am going to start with this. And I can't express enough of how important journaling is on a daily basis. Having the mindset that you're just not good enough is just failure in itself, especially when you concentrate on that. So you want to practice self-affirmations to replace that negative thought. I can do it. Other people, is it? And then if you don't think you can do it, why don't you write down why you can't? I bet you can't write down too many things. In my free time, I go to the gym and work to pay my bills and for food. And that's good stuff. That's all advancing into our life. So you want to foster a growth mindset through learning from your failures. Learning from your failures helps growth. I failed here because of X, Y, and Z, not because of somebody else or somebody tripped me up or this or that. We got to take accountability in our lives. When we're taking accountability in our lives and we're being honest with ourselves, that is a key ingredient to the recipe of an intentional life, of living a life that's full of intention, right? And then here's a really big one. Perfectionism versus progress. And perfectionism freezes progress. It freezes progress. And I'm going to tell a little story. And it's kind of made up, kind of not made up. But the story has to do with, and I heard this at a talk one time, but the story has to do with a woman, who's a successful woman. And she bought a house. And her plan was, when she bought this house, she was going to redo her kitchen. And so she brought in a designer and she designed it. She looked at the plan. And 3 years later, she still didn't have a kitchen because she was still planning it. She was afraid that it wouldn't be right. Her perfectionism kept her from pulling the trigger on getting the job started. And in perfectionism, we got to find out where that came from. Maybe way back in life as a child, one of our traumas was, you don't do anything right. Why do you have those kind of friends? Somewhere along the line, somebody turns you into a perfectionist by, you don't get things done right. You're never going to get it right. You're never going to get an A. This isn't going to happen. So we want to think back to that trigger. Like when I was talking on this board, identifying your triggers, self-reflection to understand what circumstances in your life bring out the procrastination. Fear of failure is a huge one. And the next thing is procrastination, often fueled by fear of failure and overwhelming tasks. Well, we can break our tasks down. We can take tasks and break them down into smaller steps. If I have to move a whole warehouse, it's not going to just be a magic wand and it moves. We would figure out what size vehicle that we need. We would put it together if we need help, if we need movers, and we would slowly but surely move it out. If you had to eat a whole cow, you would eat it one bite at a time, right? And freeze the part that you're not eating. And over time, it would happen because that is possible. So we put these little steps into our long-term goals, into our long-range goals. If I do this now, this gets me closer to the finish line. So there's a finish line when it comes to our goals. There's a finish line in small steps. First, we must do this to do that. If we want to win a dance competition, we would go to class to learn to dance, get some balance, some good dancing shoes. We would put things together and then we would show up. Then we would do it. And if you're not able to do the spin the first time, it doesn't matter because you practice and you go and you release the fear into your teacher's hands, right? So mindfulness and self-reflection. There's different practices to help you remain present in your life. Yeah, different practices to keep you present in your life. And first of all, I want you to think of one thing that you're grateful for. And also think of one fear that you had once had that you overcame. And I'm sure everybody in here who rode a bike for the first time crashed. You scraped up your knee, you hit your elbow. My brother Marty, I think, chipped a tooth, but he rides a bike now because you had to overcome ride it up and stop sign. That's right. Yeah, he did. Brian hit a stop sign. So things happen to us, riding a skateboard, roller skating, ice skating. Nobody's born doing that. Nobody's born on a bike or a pair of rollerblades. These are things we do. And there's people that are absolute perfectionists at it. You know how many times they fall? So failure helps you during practice to become better and better at it. And if you today start, I'm going to start doing what I want to do. I'm going to take the time to read that book. I'm going to take the time to start that hobby. I'm going to go get what I need to start my new bird watching hobby, I want to build a model hobby, these things that I want to do that you do have the time to do, that you can afford to do right now, especially when it comes to time. We all have the same 24 hours. So breaking down the mindset, the fear, the resistance, the self-doubt, it all comes from something. It all comes from somewhere. And we need to think really hard and journal all the way back to why am I afraid to do this? Why am I afraid to ask for a raise? Why am I afraid to ask for help at work, to step up, to become the manager, or to become somebody that gets to help more at the church, or to become a volunteer here or there? I've always wanted to volunteer somewhere, but have you ever gone out to ask who's looking for volunteering? You've always wanted to put more time into coaching different things. Have you gone out to try it? So a lot of us have hidden talents, and these hidden talents are behind these walls of fear, and they're behind these walls of procrastination that have to do with small bits of trauma, that you're not good enough, you can't do it. You could be in a relationship with somebody that tells you that doesn't believe in you, or you just naturally feel people don't believe in you because you didn't feel believed in as a kid. Let me tell you right now, if the creator didn't believe in you, you wouldn't be here. And whose stamp of approval is greater than that? Forgive people, move forward in life, figure it out, start doing what you want to do in your life. Welcome to week 10 of 12 of living an authentic life. Remember last week, we were talking about some pretty cool stuff, and it was the boundaries, the people, and the environments in our life, right? So what a good thing to follow the next week. Our mindset, fear, and resistance. Fear and resistance of making boundaries, fear and resistance of people and environments. So this is right, it comes in right when we needed it to come in. And if you didn't see any of these classes and didn't see the other 10 weeks of this, you can, on my profile, hit the link tree, and they're all right there on the Mental Craftsman. As a matter of fact, this is something that Brian and I have put together and built up. The Mental Craftsman has a lot of courses and shorts and things that help you with your life. And you're going to identify with it one way or another. And we want you to have a successful life. And if you're somebody, if we say things that resonate, you can come in, you can comment, you can help us. We have another series coming up here in 3 or 4 weeks. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be here and we're going to be around. We want to help you to discover how to set healthy boundaries. We want to help you how to discover that there's nothing to fear when you want to change your life, when you want to be intentional. Plan a vacation, go somewhere, save up for something, become the best you've ever been. The sky is the limit. Have you ever heard that? And you want to protect that. You want to protect your purpose in life. And you're going to do that by overcoming your mindset, fear of rejection, a lack of self-esteem, maybe self-doubt, the fears of failures. And you're going to start responding this by challenging it intentionally, just starting right now, right now. I don't have to put up with this anymore. Laquas, good morning. Thanks for coming in. So right now's the time. Right now is the time that you're going to start. And you're going to recognize how people and environments are going to mess up intentional life. That's where boundaries come in. That's where mindset comes in. I know that people aren't going to like everything that I do, and I know people aren't going to like everything that you do, but do you like it? Does it give you tranquility? Does it give you peace? That's what you're looking for in life. Tranquility and peace, and a mind that's not racing around all the time. A person that journals, a person that's living it intentionally, doesn't wake up with a racy mind. They wake up with intentions to first, what I'm grateful for before I get out of bed. At the end of the day, what went right that day, not what went wrong. We fall into these routines of what we like to talk about. And sometimes it's easier to complain than it is to be grateful. And we don't want to fall into a mindset right here that's full of complaints. We don't want to have fears, and we want to start resisting that. And it starts out with just being grateful, and being grateful for the life that's given to you, and knowing that you're in charge of it and you have the ability to change things around no matter what your challenges were in the past. Nothing can keep you from freeing your mind from the wreckage that it might be in. To start being kind to yourself, to start telling yourself that it's okay, that you're not the only person that feels that way, and a lot of people feel that way. And it starts with self-compassion, forgiving others that have done you wrong. You don't need to go back and fix anything. What you need to do is fix your mindset with yourself. Be compassionate with yourself, be honest with yourself, be true with yourself, and live in a life full of intention, a life that's full of, I'm doing this, it's because I want to do, not I'm doing this because I have to. Now, I work because I have to pay bills, right? But I also choose what I want to do. So I'm really doing what I want to do because we want to be in a career that we can engage in. So you can do what you want to do. Those things come to light. If you can imagine it, you can do it. And you can start by little steps. If you want to start a side gig to make a little bit of extra money, think of something you really enjoy doing. It won't feel like work. And gradually over time, you'll get more of that. It'll turn into something. Anything that you want, that you have passion about, will turn into something. When you plant a garden and just put it out back, nowhere near a hose, and just plant a seed, now it's just relying on the weather. But when you plant it closer to your house and you cultivate it, pull weeds, and give it more attention and talk to it, it's going to do better than the seed that was out back. Right? So this is your time to shine. It's your time now in life to realize that you can intentionally change your life right now, that you can look back to find out who, what, when, and where put your doubts there, who put your fears there. Could have been a teacher, a counselor. In my life, I was in ninth grade and we had to see a counselor. because we're going to be in high school. You're going to go to the big high school next year. And what do you want to take? And I wrote down what I wanted to do, what I was interested in. And the counselor actually laughed, said, "You won't be able to do any of this." And so I changed some of the classes that I went into. And I realize that now. So I was told by adults in education, because a lot of these cockadoodle motherfuckers don't even belong there. They're just doing a job. They're just in their routine. Some of them are good. My parents were teachers. They were good ones. But it said something to me that impacted me at 15 years old. And I had other things happen, but I carried that on. Like, I'll never be able to get into this because a teacher told me that. So we need to find out, and I can't fix that, but I fixed it today because I'm doing everything that I want to do. I'm living intentionally. But I was in my fucking 40s before I realized that what he said didn't fucking matter. But what it did is it created some gates in my life that had locked chains, and I had to build the power and the strength to open that up so I could release myself. We're all free birds, man. And some of us are in cages. And some of these bars are different fear. They're different things that are resisting what we want. Some of them are self-doubt. Some of it's just a lot of stuff. It all surrounds us. We can break that down. We can break down all the barriers through intentional living. And let's go just right now, talk about the intentional living and the difference between living intentional and living on autopilot. We want our intentions to become autopilot. And when you change your mindset, they can. So, and everybody knows a little bit of living by design. Right here it is. Let me get this out of the way. I don't know if you can read that, but when you're living by design, you're engaging, enjoying, it's intentional, deliberate, calculated, conscious. These are a lot of words. But it means what I'm talking about, it's for yourself. Living your moments and enjoying your moments. When you get a nice cup of coffee or something good to eat, savor it. Savor life too. Because if you're not what you're doing, if you're not keeping yourself just boom, flat on the ground, realizing I'm here right now. We're in this conversation right now. I'm engaging with you right now. If I'm not doing that, then it's just by chance, unconscious, unintended, accidental. How much of your life is involuntary and accidental? Parts of it that you just tolerate because you just tolerate it. Unplanned, unexpected, unforeseen. How about planning things? How about visualizing? How about being intentional? How about putting on purpose in your life practical ideas and finding where your fears are? So we got a few minutes left this morning. And I just want you to think in your life right now, if you lived intentional, what would you be doing this Saturday? If you lived intentional, what would you do after work today? What would make you fulfilled without having fear? And if fear's in the way, where does that fear come from? So let's get back to where we started this morning. Of the 5 steps of breaking through some of our fears. First, we want to identify what's triggering us, why we procrastinate, why we have fear, why we have self-doubt, why these things are in our life. Where do they come from? We're going to find out through self-reflection, and we're going to understand under what circumstances are bringing us to this trigger. And we can do that by journaling and writing about your feelings. When these circumstances, who, what, when, where, why, back when, what happened? Did I not get enough attention? Did I fail at this? Is it, does somebody I know does this and I don't want them to know that I enjoy it too? Well, that should be one of your mentors. You should talk to people that are doing and living the way you want to live and ask them, how do you do it? What do you do? Right? Analyze your fear of failure. Analyzing. That's acknowledging first that having feelings of fear is common. So it's not just you, it's in us. We, for millions of years, have always been looking out to be safe. It's part of our nervous system. We're constantly on the lookout for danger. And you may have grown up. Be careful when you cross the street. Hold a hand when you cross the street. Don't go to the store alone. Don't go to this alone. Don't touch a frog. You'll have warts all over your body. Don't do all that. You think of all these fears instilled in us as children that we carry into our life. So we want to explore these beliefs. Challenge the negative thoughts that you have that are holding you back, right? And then break down this task, your dream. Break it down. Break it down into small steps. Nothing's going to happen all at once, and create a checklist. I would like to have a career in X insurance. Okay, explore that. What steps do you need to take? Whose wing can you get under to start doing your dreams? But most importantly here is practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself and understand that it's okay to embrace your mistakes, and that failure is not a setback. It's part of you becoming who you are. If you work on all these things and seek some support, talk about it, understand. Sometimes you might want to seek a professional, a coach, a therapist, somebody that can help you. So it's not just about reading books and affirmations and all of this is what you got to do. You got to get to the bottom of it. Why did the building fall? Because something under the roof was leak. It was weak. At one point of it had something started to make it crumble. Some rot. Something was weathered and could no longer support the structure. And we get older, we'll get tired of living in fear. We'll get tired of procrastinating. We start to become more of our authentic self. We seek more peace. Yes, it is. It's a total learning experience. And I like that, Alicia. That's good stuff in there. We want to go on. Eventually, you're going to get tired of being afraid. You're going to get tired of not trying. You're going to get tired. And focus on yourself, not others. Don't live in a material world. You don't have to be like anybody else. They're all taken. You are you. And believe me, there's people that want to be you. And there is. And you might say, that's not true. Yes, there is. You are somebody. You're not Madonna. Brian, you told me that was your idol.
It is my idol.
Why are you making fun of
You
her?
said material girl.
Oh, yeah. We're living in a material world.
Yeah.
So, you can't live intentionally and you can't get your dreams become true. None of this would happen if you don't know yourself. So you got to know yourself. You got to start right out with, I want to live an intentional life. This is what I'm afraid of. This is what I want to overcome. I feel this way because when I was younger, my parents were perfectionists. They told me I was never, ever good. And that froze me. I still got an education. I still have a job, but I'm just not doing what I want to do. I feel like I had to live my whole damn life to please them. And there's people that feel that way. Sometimes we live our lives to please others. We live our life to please our spouse, or we live our life to please our kids. We get overwhelmed by these responsibilities, these people that have expectations of us. Some of them live with us. Some of them live around us. Some of them live off of us. Some of them are still at the same stage since they were 12 years old. That happened to me. I never grew mentally and cognitively because of some of the trauma I had in my life. Even though I was an adult, I was working. I owned a business. I had all kinds of things going on. I didn't know who the fuck I was. I was just out there. And I started to explore. And there's no help for us blue collar people. There really isn't. I had a therapist that went to therapy, but I had to really think back. And it wasn't until I started journaling on my own, just journaling on my own, taking some of the information in. And nobody was right. Nobody was wrong. It wasn't about that. But I had to dig deep down to find who I am. What makes me tick? What makes me go? Why am I so damn intense? And I found out I'm a perfectionist. That I was a good salesman, that people trusted me. And I took some of those benefits and I packaged them together to run a successful business. And I'm not afraid to say that it's successful. So you can live intentionally, but it takes being honest with yourself, knowing your limits, and you're going to fail. And when I say I failed, man, I got an F fucking plus, minus, whatever the hell you want to call it. I was a failure right here. It was on my forehead, I thought. But I started getting clear on my values, my core values, what mattered to me, and I not to listen to some of the people in my life. Were the school counselor I told you about, maybe some people that I dated. I got into some bad relationships where you were told things where you weren't, attending to other people's needs. I became a people pleaser because I didn't want anybody else to have the pain I had. And my life had no fucking direction because it was constantly directed by everybody else. Everybody directed me what to do. Ray, give me $50. Ray, give me $100. Ray, drive me over here. Ray, can you do this? And I could fix anything. That was the one that was like a curse in my life. Since I was a kid, when I say I can fix anything, I can fix anything. And that's why I'm in construction. And I'm not afraid to say that. But I could never form a sense of life purpose because I was too fucking busy being taken advantage of by everybody. And I thought I had to please everybody and everyone could be happy. And then there went 30 years of my freaking life. But I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want that to happen to anybody. That's what this is about. That's what Mental Craftsman's about. It's about taking control of your life right now. It's about being intentional right now. And it's also about recognizing people that are running you the fuck over. So you want to form a sense of life purpose and you want to be happy, it's on you. And it's recognizing your fears. It's putting boundaries in place. And it's taking control of stuff. And there's always going to be cockadoodle bullshit out there. There's always going to be people saying something about you that are intimidated by you. Because when you overcome your fears, you become intimidating. Get more respect and people get intimidated by you. Because you'll be more direct, you're specific, you have boundaries, and you're going to get shit done. And when you're going up against people that are just complacent, unsupervised, complacent people, that are just complacent in life, just ticking away time, being a little aggravator, they avoid you and they talk about you. So turn this vision into a clear statement that you understand about yourself. Your vision is, I want to live an intentional life. I want to live a life of doing what I want to do, not what others think I should do. And I want to live a life that's complete, that's full of vitality. That's right, excitement, exhilarating life that you're in control of, and it'll bring you peace. It'll bring you peace of mind. And I cannot wait until this Friday because I just thought about some more stuff that we could talk about. 2 more weeks after this week. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks, everybody. And I want you to be here. I want you to follow it out with me. I want you to like it and share it. And if you want to support me in any way, all I ask you to do is share. That's all I ask. Hit me a heart once in a while. I like to see that on the side and share this out. It has been great, Farm Girl. And you've always been here. Great supporter. I love you. I love everybody who supports me. And if you come in sometimes, I love it. If you're here a lot, I love it. But we're here for you. That's why we do this. We want you to feel good about yourself. And Echo will be here this Friday. Brian, remind me that our special guest is Echo, my dog. He's busy sleeping right now. I'm sorry, everybody. Have a great day, everyone.